People's State Bank is a locally owned and managed bank with convenient locations in southwest Wisconsin and northeast Iowa. If you're looking for a place where you're more than just a number, but still have access to convenient technology and low fees, People's State Bank is it. As a community bank, they're proud to support many of the local charities, county fairs, community events, and more. When you become a part of People's State Bank, you can be confident that you're standing with a good cause. People's State Bank, member FDIC.
Tonight, we open up on the boys' season postseason with a game that we played just last week. SWAL rivals Mineral Point and Iowa Grant get set for their third game of the season, but this time something's different. It's win or go home. Welcome to our Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of high school boys basketball, presented by Cuba City, Kieler, and Darlington Family Dental, and Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors, powered in the postseason by Tim Slack, Auction and Realty, and H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Tonight, we move into our next round of play in this Division IV postseason run in 2025. It's the Iowa Grant Panthers and the Mineral Point Pointers from the Wolf Construction broadcast booth. This is Matthew Ganinin, and it's been an interesting season for both of these sides. They both lost a lot from last year. One has been able to reload better than the other, but in this early stage of the playoffs, you're seeing kind of what you expect in the sense that it is some area teams going back at it, and multiple times in the season. In this case, it is the third time this season that we're going to see these two teams go at it with each other. We'll start off by looking at the Iowa Grant Panthers. I did have a chance to speak with Coach Sean Daly before the game. And as we talked about his season, you know, he mentioned the loss of his two big scorers from last year, and that really the challenge with him, knowing that he had one of the youngest teams in the conference and one of the youngest teams in this part of the state, so having to reload in some of those key positions was a big deal for him. They finished 8-16 in the regular season, finished 4-10, good for 6th place in SWAL play. So that's the case for Iowa Grant. Taking a look at their schedule, where they were able to find wins, they picked up 4 in the non-conference, 4 in the conference. Early season wins over Belmont, Riverdale, Boscobel. They picked up a win over St. Ambrose Academy. Also with wins over Riverdale and Boscobel a second time, Prairie du Chien, and that big one against Wisconsin Heights, which we'll talk about when we dive further in depth into Iowa Grant after this. And on the other side for Mineral Point, 23-1. Their best regular season record since their 2015 state runner-up season. Only loss coming to Southwestern, where they really in that game only played one poor half of basketball. And if you even call it poor, just facing up against Southwestern, how well they were playing in that one. It's been real end-to-end dominance for Mineral Point this season, and something that they are certainly looking to keep up into the postseason. And that starts tonight. Iowa Grant in their second game of the postseason, Mineral Point in their first game of this postseason run here tonight. We'll profile some of these teams even more after this, talk anything on the injury front, some other games in the area, and more coming up next on the Rally Cheese Pregame Show. This is the Rally Cheese Pregame Show presented by Rally Cheese at the intersection of Highways 11 and 23 in the heart of Lafayette County. Don't forget the cheese. Back after this on ESPN Radio AM 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Welcome back to ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back here in the Scott Schmitz Community Gym at Mineral Point High School as we're getting set to get underway in this game here between the Iowa Grant Panthers and the Mineral Point Pointers, profiling these teams a little bit. Let's start off with Iowa Grant. We kind of ran through their wins and their losses on the season as we look at some of the star players for Iowa Grant. We are looking in the scoring column primarily at Everett Zimmer, Sam Lundell, and Treaton Leffelholtz. Their top three players in scoring, all averaging double figures on this season. They really make it go for Iowa Grant. Looking at another guy, Grant Rickard, shooting almost 40% from three on the year, probably one of the better shooters from deep, and that's something that I was able to speak with Coach Daly about in the pregame, is how his team really does feel confident shooting the three when they're able to get around defenses, and that's what really propelled them to that win over Wisconsin Heights. Looking at that one, it was a 75-46 win in the first round of their postseason, and looking at some of the stats in that one, they connected on 17 shots from deep. Landon Friesen big in that one, 4 out of 5 from deep. Sam Lundell was 3 out of 5 from deep. And in addition, Everett Zimmer had a pair, Maddox Fisher had a pair, and Grant Rickard threw in 3 from beyond the three-point line. So top to bottom, it was a very solid shooting performance from Iowa Grant that was able to propel them to that win. Beyond that, they were able to hold Wisconsin Heights just 17 points in the second half of that one. They're going to look to keep that one up here tonight as they take on Mineral Point. First 2 times these teams played here in this gym, there's a 70-33 win for Mineral Point, and last time out, which was just on the 27th of February, a 66-45 win for Mineral Point. Speaking of the Pointers, we'll take a look at them up next as we continue on the Rally Cheese pregame show. This is high school boys basketball on Super Hits 106 on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio 850 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Closing in on tip-off here between Iowa Grant and Mineral Point. Now, let's take a look at the pointers and what I was able to learn from Coach Dan Burrison of the Mineral Point Pointers. I spoke to him just prior to this game. Mineral Point, as I mentioned, 23-1 on the season. Very happy with how they've played on the year. Their only loss, as I mentioned, was to Southwestern. That one came on the 17th of January, 77-79, the final. The Wildcats did lead 60-41 in that game, but ultimately the Wildcats would come away with a win there. But since then, been smooth sailing for Mineral Point, including big wins over Darlington, an overtime thriller against Cuba City, and some non-conference victories against Lancaster, Potosi, Platteville, Marshall, and New Glarus thrown in there for the Pointers. They're led by many seasoned guys coming back from last year, specifically Eli Lindsay, Jackson Wenhausen, Andrew Ashelman. Taking a look at the statistics for Mineral Point, starting off in the scoring column. Jackson Wenhausen leads the Pointers with 17.5 points per game. Lindsay's at 16 points, and Ashelman 12.5 per game, all in double figures. For the Pointers, Ashelman, Lindsay, and Wenhausen all shooting nearly 40% from three on the season. Lindsay and Wenhausen combined have made 100 three-pointers this year. Very talented shooting team, but also the height that they bring. Looking at the roster, you've got Jackson Wenhausen at 6'4", Lindsay at 6'5", Ashelman at 6'3", add in 6'6" and 6'4" centers to that mix, and it works out pretty well for Mineral Point. They're hoping for their third win in the season series here tonight. Iowa Grant looking to challenge them and take down the top dogs in the state, the #1 ranked Pointers. We'll take another break and wrap up the Raleigh Cheese pregame show after this. This is the boys basketball regional semifinals on ESPN Radio 850 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio 850 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Russell Law Office's injury report. If you've been injured, contact Russell Law Offices. Their experienced team of personal injury lawyers will fight for your rights and help you get the compensation you deserve. Visit RussellLawWI.com. No injuries to report for either team tonight. Always a great sign as we head into the postseason. For our colors of the game, presented by Cuba City Family Dental, Kieler Family Dental, and Darlington Family Dental. 3 convenient locations to serve your dental needs. Mineral Point in their home Nikes. Pointers across the chest with baby blue and royal blue on those. Iowa Grant in their road black Nikes with Iowa Grant across the chest. Numbers on the front and back in red with white outlines and red outlines on those jerseys. Throughout the night tonight, we will bring you the Shoebox Scoreboard presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. Other games tonight: Fenimore at Cuba City's on Super Hits 106, Parkview at Lancaster on 97.7 Country WGLR, and River Ridge at North Crawford on X107.1 Extreme Hit Music. The First Supply first half after this on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. There's the national anthem. Tonight brought to you by the Mineral Point High School Pep Band on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel as we're about to get set in this one. Now it's time to take a look at our starting lineups presented by Fuller's Milker Center. See Fuller's for your complete hygiene line and option to a brand new dairy setup or existing parlor remodel. Fuller's in Lancaster, Richland Center, and at fullersmilkercenter.com. First, the starting lineups for the Iowa Grant Panthers, starting a 6'1" sophomore forward, number 1, Landon Friesen, a 5'11" guard, a junior, number 2, Sam Lindell, a junior, 5'11" guard, number 3, Everett Zimmer, a 6'2" senior, number 10, or a 6'2" sophomore, number 4, Grant Rickard, and a 6'4" center, number 11, Treaton Leffelholtz. Those are starting lineups for the Iowa Grant Panthers. And finally, we'll get you the starting lineups for Mineral Point. The starting lineups for the Pointers, a 6'4" senior, number 5, Jackson Wenhausen, a 6'5" senior, number 11, Eli Lindsay, a 6'3" junior, number 11, Drew Ashelman, a 6'2" senior, number 12, Tucker Dannenberg, and a 6'4" senior, number 32, Jacob Phillips. We'll tell you that tonight's game is brought to you by Ritchie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richiesinc.com. Also brought to you by Mound City Bank. Their total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop at Mound City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Learn more at moundcitybank.com. Community First Bank, freeing the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience yourself the difference at Community First Bank, cfbank.com. Member FDIC. We're also brought to you tonight by the Larson Funeral Home and Soman Larson Funeral Home. They've dedicated themselves to the highest level of personal service that only a family-owned and operated funeral home can provide. The Larson Family Funeral Home, Fenimore, and the Soman Larson Funeral Home, Montfort. Dan's Auto Center in Mineral Point congratulates the Mineral Point boys basketball team on a great season for tune-ups. Diagnostics. Visit the experts at Dan's Auto Center in Mineral Point. Brought to you by H&M Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving in Fenimore, Lancaster, and Boscoville. Always on call, always the right call. H&M Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving you in Southwest Wisconsin, 24/7 since 1958. And Anderson Weber Toyota in Dubuque, powering our audio stream. Anderson Weber Toyota in Dubuque when you are ready. And now it's time to get underway in this regional semifinal between Mineral Point and Iowa Grant. Tip is won by Mineral Point here. Mineral Point, they've got the ball to get us started first. Here's Dannenberg on the baseline, works his way inside. Now Ashelman, he'll work it to the left. Pointers working to the right as you see it on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Wenhausen inside, loses dribble, and there's a turnover going the other way. Everett Zimmer picks the pocket of the Pointers. Mineral Point playing this 1-3-1 zone that they've been really keying in on as of late. Lundell on the outside, looking for where to go with it. Just gets it there to Friesen. Now inside, back out to Leffelholtz. That shot off the mark, and the rebound tipped into the hands of Wenhausen. Scoreless through 1 minute here in Mineral Point. Lindsay up for the Pointers, over to Ashelman. Ashelman over to Dannenberg. Dannenberg stops, doubled up, no good. Shot deflected and saved by Phillips into the hands of Ashelman. Another opportunity for the Pointers. Ashelman will leap into the post where he's fouled there. That's going to go on Treaton Leffelholtz, his first, and his free throws on the way for Drew Ashelman. Brian Steffes Construction is your local Wick building dealer in Mineral Point, serving all of Southwest Wisconsin since 1996. Put Wick Buildings, your dreams, and Brian Steffes Construction's expertise to work for you. First free throw for Ashelman, up and good. That one rattles home for Drew Ashelman. Ashelman will get one more here. Second one good as well. Ashelman opens up the scoring here tonight. 16:40 to go. First half, 2-0. Mineral Point leads. Here's Leffelholtz. Gets it across to the half court there to Friesen. Friesen kicks over to Zimmer. Now Leffelholtz. And he's called for the double dribble there. It'll be a turnover in Mineral Point basketball. Here comes Mineral Point. Back the other way. Wenhausen in the far corner fires for three. That one too strong, off the mark, no good, and we'll get a foul on the Panthers. That will be on Rickard, his first. Mineral Point will get another opportunity here. They lead at 2-0, 16-10 to go. First half, inbound to Phillips, up top. Now, Wenhausen in the near corner. Dannenberg slashing. Phillips up for two. And there's Phillips for the Pointers, who gets the two to go. And now a 4-0 lead for Mineral Point. Here comes Iowa Grant the other way. Panthers up top. Now back to the outside. Here's Zimmer near that baseline and stolen away. Eventually into the hands of Dannenberg, who corrals that one. Now Ashelman going the other way. Into the post, and that one out of bounds. It was tipped. It'll stay with Mineral Point. Inbound to Ashelman, he'll try for three. That one's short. Another offensive rebound for Mineral Point. Wenhausen, he'll go out to Dannenberg. Dannenberg, Phillips, two more on the glass. And we'll get a timeout here by Coach Daly. And the Panthers, 15-10 to go in the first half. It's a 6-0 lead for Mineral Point. We'll tell you our broadcast tonight is brought to you by Eggers Enterprise in Mineral Point, specializing in residential and commercial landscaping and hardscaping, now including lawn care and hedgerow seeding. They'll always exceed your expectations. Check them out on the web or Facebook and call Lane today. Farmers Implement Mineral Point proudly supports Mineral Point Pointer basketball. At Farmers Implement Mineral Point, service has been a tradition for over 40 years. They have what you need to get the job done. Southwest Health with over 24 specialty services and more than 50 specialists. So you can have excellent care without traveling far from home. Learn more about their specialty services at southwesthealth.org. Ivy's Construction, Mineral Point. Ivy's Construction is a family-owned and operated ready-mix aggregate and excavation company serving Southwest Wisconsin. Ivy's Construction, Mineral Point. 3 minutes into this first half, it's a 6-0 lead for Mineral Point. Here's Rickard. Up top, kicks over to Zimmer. Inside, ball stolen away by Phillips, out of bounds. Last touch by Lundell. It'll be Mineral Point basketball. Schneidels Heating and Cooling, your local Daikin dealer. Call Bradley Schneider for heating, ventilating, and air conditioning service from Schneidels Heating and Cooling in Bloomington. Also brought to you tonight by Ritchie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richiesinc.com. Other way, Dannenberg with the two inside for Mineral Point to make it 8-0 Mineral Point now. Pointers on a scoring run to open us up here tonight. Panthers looking for their first points of the night. Here's Lundell on the near side wing, kicks over to Friesen. Friesen will back it out to Lundell. Double and the 1-3-1 back to Friesen on the far side. He'll look there for Rickard. Now Zimmer inside, Leffelholtz kicks, no one there, and it's stolen away by Lindsay. Back the other way comes Dannenberg. Ashelman goes back to Dannenberg. He'll leave for Wenhausen. Wenhausen, Ashelman, deep three, up and down. Drew Ashelman with his first field goal of the night. He laces it up from deep, and it's 11-0 Mineral Point. 4 minutes into this one. Panthers still looking for their first points of the night. Leffelholtz, Friesen will try the three. That one in and out. Here's an offensive rebound for Rickard, and he's fouled on the way up. Free throws on the way for Iowa Grant. That foul is going to go on Jacob Phillips, his first. First free throw for Rickard coming up here. That first one in and out, no good. We'll get some subs here. Fisher checking in for Iowa Grant. Keaton Dempsey in for Mineral Point. Mount City Bank's total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop in to Mount City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Learn more at mountcitybank.com. Second one up and good for Grant Rickard. And there's the first points on the board tonight for Iowa Grant. 11-1. Mineral Point leads it here. 13:45 on the clock, first half. Ashelman back the other way. He tries to work it inside. Now he'll go back out to Dempsey. Dempsey on the far side wing. Kicks back to Ashelman. Off of Lindsay's screen. Ashelman, Dempsey. Corner three up. And it falls. Nothing but net there for Keaton Dempsey. And that's the second made three here for Mineral Point. 14-1. Their lead early in this first supply, first half. Lundell will leave here for Zimmer. Back to Lundell. Zimmer on the far side. Will work over to Lundell, and we'll get a foul on Mineral Point. And it's going to go on Eli Lindsay, his first. Community First Bank, for you in the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank. CFBank.com, member FDIC. Also brought to you tonight by Dan's Auto Center in Mineral Point. Congratulating the Mineral Point Pointer boys basketball team on a great season. For tune-ups, new tires, and complete diagnostics, visit the experts at Dan's Auto Center in Mineral Point. Here's Rickard. Kicks over here to Fisher. Lundell will try the corner three. That one off the mark. Lindsay rips that rebound right out of the air. Back the other way. Wenhausen, cross corner pass. Dempsey comes up with it. Got it, count it, and one. What a finish there by Keaton Dempsey through the contact. He'll get another free throw. That foul is going to go on Maddox Fisher. That's his first. Dempsey with a chance to add one here. Free throw up for Dempsey and good. And Dempsey quietly becoming one of the better scorers on this Mineral Point team here in his junior year to make it 17-1. Mineral Point's lead over Iowa Grant. Zimmer will try the deep three. That one, back iron, no good. Rebound tipped to Ashelman. Ashelman will leave for Lindsay. Lindsay up to Dempsey. Dempsey from the far side. Euro steps inside and finishes the two. Now 19-1 Mineral Point. Just about 6 minutes gone in this first supply, first half. Panthers still looking for their first made field goal of the night. Lundell drives the baseline and is fouled there by Dempsey. That'll be his first and the third on Mineral Point. Burnham Lumber Rui. See Burnham Lumber for all your agricultural, commercial, and residential projects. Burnham Lumber Rui and H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving you in Fenimore, Lancaster, and Boscobel. Always on call, always the right call. H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving Southwest Wisconsin 24/7 since 1958. And by Ritchie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richies.inc.com. Inbound to Leffelholtz, trying to go to work on Potterton. That one too strong, no good. Put back, blocked by Wenhausen, but we'll get a foul on Wenhausen. And that will send Landon Friesen to the free throw line to shoot a pair. Friesen's first one up and good. That's his first point on the night. Farmers Implement Mineral Point proudly supports Mineral Point Pointer basketball at Farmers Implement Mineral Point. Service has been a tradition for over 40 years. They have what you need to get the job done. Friesen, 2 for 2 there. Now 19-3, Mineral Point leading Iowa Grant. 12 minutes exactly on the clock here in the first supply, first half. Dempsey in the far corner. Kicks over to Ashelman up top. He'll work it inside, back out. Dempsey, three ball. That one no good. Panthers with the board. Lundell up ahead here, just too much muscle behind that one. It's out of bounds, and it's Mineral Point basketball. Ivy's Construction, Mineral Point. Ivy's Construction Incorporated is a family-owned and operated ready-mix aggregate and excavation company serving Southwest Wisconsin. Ivy's Construction, Mineral Point. Here's Ashelman for Mineral Point. He'll work it to his left, inside, stops, pops the floater, too strong, no good. Rebound brought in by Leffelholtz. Back the other way, into the post goes Rickard, and he gets the two to go. There's the first field goal of the night for the Panthers, now 19-5. Mineral Point leads. Dempsey. And now Ashelman in the far corner. That one tipped in, stolen away there by Leffelholtz. Lundell, eyes up for IG as he'll take it up for the Panthers. Here's Rickard. Now Lundell. Kicks over to Zimmer. Rickard will fire the three, and that one airmailed, no good. Last touch by Rickard. No contact there for Mineral Point. Southwest Health has over 24 specialty services and more than 50 specialists, so you can have excellent care without traveling far from home. Learn more about their specialty services at southwesthealth.org. 10:35 on the clock here in the First Supply first half. 19-5, Mineral Point leads IG. Ashelman over to Wenhausen, now Lindsay, cross-court pass, Dempsey drives it on the baseline, can't get it to go, but Potterton gets the board, he can't get it to fall. Dempsey, he'll put it up, and he's fouled that time. So we'll get free throws here for Keaton Dempsey. That foul gonna go on Leffelholtz. Dempsey. First one up and no good off the front rim. Aggers Enterprise in Mineral Point, specializing in residential, commercial, landscaping, and hardscaping, and now including lawn care and hydro seeding. They're always exceeding your expectations. Check them out on the web or Facebook and call Lane today. Dempsey, good on his second. That's his second made free throw tonight to make it 20-5. IG will take it back the other way here. Lundell to Leffelholtz, now back to Lundell. Cross-court pass here. Zimmer, and a travel. Grant Regional Health Owners Authority team, Dr. Brad Binsfeld and Nate Stocco PAC provides exceptional care for sports-related injuries. Grant Regional Health Center, Better Health starts here. Just about 8 minutes gone now in the First Supply first half. 20-5. Mineral Point leads it in the regional semifinal. The winner will take on the winner of Parkview and Lancaster. That game on 97.7 Country WGLR and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Drew Ashelman takes it coast to coast there to push that Mineral Point lead up even more now, 22-5. Potterton with a block there. Lindsay with the rebound. Pointers will go back the other way. Ashelman goes over to Wenhausen, step back three up from the wing, and it won't fall. Dempsey fouled on his way up, and it's more free throws on the way for Keaton Dempsey. And we talked about Mineral Point's height earlier. Dempsey certainly not the tallest on the roster. He stands at 6 feet tall, which actually on this 16-man roster, he is one of the 4 shortest players, but he's been all over the offensive boards tonight. First free throw good for Dempsey. We'll get a substitution. Friesen will check in for Iowa Grant in place of Lundell. One more on the way from the charity stripe for Dempsey. That one drops. Dempsey already into double figures with 11 tonight, and it's 24-5. Mineral Point, 9:23 to go for Supply first half. Here's Friesen on the outside, goes to Leffelholtz on the far side baseline. Back to Friesen. Friesen works it to his right, runs into some trouble, gets it away to Rickard. Rickard will reset to Zimmer. Now 3-ball up from Tyler Schultz. That one airmailed. Ashelman with the board. Ashelman goes up to Dempsey. Dempsey, baseline, elevates, can't get the 2 to go on the glass. Now here comes IG the other way. Zimmer stops, got to get rid of it, goes back out. Friesen up top, IG will reset offensively. And it's ripped away. Lindsay going the other way. He'll lay it in for 2. There's Eli Lindsay's first points of the night to make it 26-5. And really with the scoring, like I said, one thing that Coach Staley talked about when I spoke to him before this one is limiting the big 3 for Mineral Point. Now, Dempsey has 11 of Mineral Point's points, but only 9 points out of the 26 for the Pointers coming from that big 3 of Ashelman, Lindsay, and Wenhausen. On the inside, the reverse lay-in, no good by Everett Zimmer. Rebound to the Pointers, passed up ahead to Wenhausen. Wenhausen sees space on the baseline. He'll go back out to Lindsay, extra pass, Ashelman. Now Dempsey, corner 3, it falls! What ball movement there for Mineral Point. to get 3 more on the board. It's 29-5 with 7:50 to go for Supply first half. Here's Schultz. Kicks over here to Rickard. Now Friesen, he gets the 3 to fall. Hermson's Ace Hardware and Home Center in Bloomington and Hermson's Ace Hardware at the bottom of Main and Platteville. See Hermson's for the perfect pick for your next project. Hermson's Ace Hardware in Bloomington and Platteville. Dempsey left alone. He'll go back to Ashelman. Now Potterton inside, no one there. Takes a dribble. He'll kick it back out to Wenhausen. Wenhausen drives, stops. Dempsey, 3 ball. No good. Potterton with the board. He'll go to Ashelman. He'll try the 3 from the top, and it falls. 32-8, Mineral Point with 7 to go in the first Supply first half. Here's Zimmer inside. Nice kick to Tyler Schultz, who gets the 2 as he cuts to the rim on that one. Now 32-10, Mineral Point leads it. They've got a 22-point lead. Over to Dempsey. Dempsey inside kicks. Potterton. Reverse lay is good for the 6'6 Potterton. 34-10, Mineral Point. 6:30 to go first half. Here's Rickard. Kicks over here to Zimmer. And we'll get a kick ball. It'll stay with Iowa Grant. Brian Steffes Construction is your local Wick building dealer in Mineral Point, serving all of Southwest Wisconsin since 1996. But Wick Building's your dreams, and Brian Steffes Construction's expertise to work for you in the Larson Funeral Home and Soman Larson Funeral Home have dedicated themselves to the highest level of personal service that only a family-owned and operated funeral home can provide. The Larson Funeral Home, Fenimore, and the Soman Larson Funeral Home, Montfort. Here's Zimmer. Kicks in. That's too strong as he's looking for Noah Lang. That'd be Mineral Point basketball. Brought to you tonight by Russell Law Offices, here to assist you with your local legal representation. Call for a consultation to discuss personal injury, estate planning, family law, criminal defense, probate administration, and more. Proudly serving Southern Wisconsin, Russell Law Offices, and by Richie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richiesinc.com. Bossert in the corner, left alone, won't take the 3. He'll work it inside instead, kicks to Phillips. Phillips wants a cut, gets it to Wenhausen. Wenhausen. Turnaround Jay, he's fouled, and it's free throws on the way for Jackson Wenhausen. That foul is going to go on Landon Friesen, his first. 2 free throws on the way for Wenhausen. Wenhausen's first one up and good. Brian's auto body and paint specialist, the pros at Brian's. Get the job done right for unexpected things or major repair projects. Head to Brian's Auto Body and Paint, Lancaster, and Ayers Furniture in downtown Ridgeway. For free delivery on heirloom quality furniture for every room in your home, be sure to visit Ayers Furniture at ayersfurniture.com. Second one for Wenhausen does not fall, and we'll get it over the back foul on Jake Phillips. This one going the other way. 35-10, Mineral Point leads. 5:57 to go until our halftime break. McNatt Electric of Belmont can assist you with all your electrical needs. Chip and his crew at McNatt Electric are on call and ready to help you with all your agricultural, business, and commercial needs. McNatt Electric, Belmont. Here comes Iowa Grant the other way. Up top is Lundell. Lundell to his left. Loose ball picked up there by Friesen. Back out, Lindsay steals it away, goes behind the back, racing down the floor, accelerates and gets 2 at the rack. 37-10, the Mineral Point lead. Here's Lundell on the far side wing, tipped, stolen, Lindsay with space, it's a rack attack for Eli Lindsay. Lindsay brings the house down, 39-10. It's all Mineral Point. Dannenberg steals it into the hands of Lindsay. Now Bossert with it for Mineral Point. Lindsay, deep 3, it's short. Rebounded Phillips, and the putback is there. And we've got a timeout on the floor by Iowa Grant. We'll stay here for this one. 41-10, Mineral Point leads it. 4:37 in the first supply, first half. Brought to you tonight by Kieler Bank, with their 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin, is proud to support our community events. Kieler Bank, where they say we can do that. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Take a quick check on the Shoebox scoreboard, presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the large independent shoe store in the Midwest. 39-10. We'll make it 39-12 now. The lead for Lancaster over Parkview. The winner of that one will take on the winner of this one tomorrow night in the regional final. Other games on our Queen Bee Radio family of stations. This one's on X107.1 Extreme Hit Music. North Crawford leads River Ridge 28-11 in that regional semifinal. And finally, Fenimore and Cuba City. Right now, it's a 22-12 lead for Fenimore. And on the Russell Law Office's injury report, more like in this case, the Russell Law Office's illness report, Evan Larson not quite feeling 100% in that one. Already 22-12 Fenimore on top of Cuba City. Back to the action here. 4:30 to go in the first supply, first half. 41-10 Mineral Point. There's a steal. Lindsay the other way, and this time he'll lay it in. Lindsay up to 8 on the night. 43-10. This pointer lead. Back the other way. Dannenberg, nifty play to steal that one away. Ashelman over to the aforementioned Dannenberg. He'll kick out to Bossert. Up top, Ashelman goes back to Bossert. Screen from Lindsay. Phillips on the far side corner. Dannenberg left alone. He'll take it up short. Leffelholtz has the board, and we'll get a foul on Dannenberg late in the play. We're brought to you tonight by TC Networks of Platteville. From IT consulting to security cameras, door access control, and more. Learn about how they can help you at tcnetworks.com, and by Ritchie Implement and Cop, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at ritchiesinc.com. Under 4 to play till our halftime break. Here's Zimmer. That one tipped into the backcourt by Lindsay. Friesen brings it back into the half court and a kick ball there on Eli Lindsay. TriStar Pallets of Island and TriStar Mulch of Cobb and Platteville. Beautify your home with decorative colored mulch. Give Jim Jaree and the gang a call at TriStar Pallets of Island and TriStar Mulch of Cobb and Platteville. At Community First Bank, for the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience yourself the difference at Community First Bank. CFbank.com. Member FDIC. 3.5 to play in the first half. 43-10. Mineral Point. This one going to be a backcourt violation. And Mineral Point basketball. Mountain City Bank's total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop at Mountain City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Also brought to you tonight by Brian Steffes Construction, local WIC building dealer in Mineral Point, serving all Southwest Wisconsin since 1996. But WIC Buildings and Dreams and Brian Steffes Construction's expertise to work for you. Dannenberg, now Lindsay, near the free throw line. Kicks to Wenhausen. He'll drive it baseline, elevates, and gets 2. And that is the first made field goal of the game for Jackson Wenhausen. He's scored more than 30 points in some games this year, but a more quiet role tonight to make it 45-10. Mineral Point with 3 minutes to go until the halftime. And at the half, we'll have our McNett Electric halftime report. Don't go anywhere for that one. We'll check scores in the area, break this one down, and more on the McNett Electric halftime report. This one out of bounds. It'll stay with Iowa Grant. The Larson Family Funeral Home and the Soman Larson Funeral Home has dedicated themselves to the highest level of personal services that only a family-owned and operated funeral home can provide. The Larson Family Funeral Home of Fenimore and the Soman Larson Funeral Home of Montfort. On the baseline, here's Rickard. Rickard inbounds here to Leffelholtz. Now Zimmer. Back to Leffelholtz. Works it back towards the middle. Hands off. Now Lundell goes between the legs, directing his offense. Zimmer goes to his left. IG trying to set up a set here. Lundell now to the near side wing on that perimeter. He kicks to Grant Rickard. Lundell inside. Leffelholtz tries the 3, and that one off the mark. Up to Ashelman. Dempsey, he'll try for 3, and there it is. Keaton Dempsey with his 3rd made shot from beyond the arc, and it's 48-10, Mineral Point. Back the other way, Rickard. That shot no good. Lindsay with the rebound. 2 minutes to play. Ashelman Up ahead. That one rejected by Lundell. Iowa Grant with a 5-on-4. Lundell, his 3-ball blocked. Now 1:30 to go, 90 seconds till our halftime break. Dempsey tries another triple. That one no good. Going the other way. Here's Lundell. Over to Zimmer. Now looking for Leffelholtz. Back to Zimmer. Now to the corner. Friesen won't take the three. He'll go back up top. Friesen in the near corner. Zimmer. Leffelholtz tries the deep shot. That's off the mark. Wenhausen clears the board. Along that near sideline, takes it up the floor. Dempsey, seconds tick away, under a minute to go in the first supply, first half. Lindsay over to Wenhausen. Off of Lindsay's screen. Back to Lindsay. Left alone. He'll take the three, and there it is. Eli Lindsay, good on his first three-point field goal of the half. And now to the final 30 seconds till our halftime break. Lindsay bats that one back into the hands of Zimmer. Leffelholtz on the outside, cross court. Lundell fires the deep three. That one short. Phillips the board. 15 seconds. Pointers will take one final shot. Coach Burrison calls out the play from the sideline. Down to 10 seconds. Ashelman up the floor to his left. Lindsay with the screen. Ashelman inside. Too strong. Phillips boarded out. Lindsay, good if it goes. It does! Eli Lindsay with the buzzer beater three. And at the half, a huge lead for Mineral Point. 54-10. We'll take a break here. Back after that on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio AM 1590, WPVL, and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. A 54-10 lead for Mineral Point over Iowa Grant. We'll take one more break. The McNett Electric halftime report brought to you by McNett Electric for all your electrical needs. Call McNett Electric of Belmont. That's up next on ESPN Radio AM 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. 7:15 to go. This until We started the second half, but before that, this is the McNett Electric halftime report. 54-10. Mineral Point has been all over this one. I want to quickly take a look at the results over the last couple of games between Mineral Point and Iowa Grant, courtesy of mppointers.com. Mineral Point, we'll start off with last year. They had the Panthers 3 times, 79-31, and that was the first game. Then kind of a similar situation to last year. They played the Panthers on the 22nd of February and the 1st of March in this Friday night regional semifinals. Those were 91-52 and 86-28 wins for Mineral Point. So far this year, as I mentioned, the Pointers have taken down the Panthers 70-33 and 66-45. Let's get back to this one, though, and take a look at the scoring column first tonight. For Iowa Grant, we'll start off. Tyler Schultz has got 2 points. It's 5 for Landon Friesen. Grant Rickard has got 3 points. On the other end for Mineral Point, Jackson Wenhausen has got 3 points. Eli Lindsay has got 14. 10 for Ashelman. Tucker Dannenberg's got 2. Keaton Dempsey has 17, and Jake Phillips 6. Satley Potterton 2 as well. So Mineral Point has been sharing the love in the scoring column. They're led, however, by Dempsey and Ashelman, the 2 juniors in the rotation for this side. Take a look next at the Shoebox scoreboard, presented by the Shoebox in Blackburn, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. At the half, it's 29-23 Richland Center leading Platteville in boys hoops. Highland leads Ithaca 44-22 at the half. Fenimore leads Cuba City 26-17. And Potosi leading Seneca 30-19 at the half. We'll take another break. The McNett Electric halftime report continues after this on ESPN Radio AM 1590 WPBL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio AM 1590 WPBL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel as we get set to go. 4 minutes until our second half of basketball here, talking keys to the second half for Mineral Point. More of the same, and for Iowa Grant, need to do a better job of running some sets and seeing if they have anything in the playbook to get around that 1-3-1 Mineral Point zone defense. We saw Mineral Point play a lot more of that 1-3-1 as of late, as opposed to the defense they're normally in, whether it's a 1-2-2 look or man defense. Definitely something the Pointers are going to lean on this postseason, something that they can turn to because of the length that they've got. Taking a look at the bracket and how we got here, Iowa Grant took down Wisconsin Heights 75-46 in that regional quarterfinal. It was a 70-33 win for Parkview over Cashton and an 80-41 win for Lancaster over Boscobel. We'll take another check on the game that we've got in Lancaster on 97.7 Country WGLR. That one just went to halftime. It's 45-28. Lancaster leads in that one. Right here is 54-10 Mineral Point on top of IG, where we're taking another break and wrapping up the McNett Electric halftime report after this on ESPN Radio AM 1590 WPBL, the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Mineral Point High School. Brought to you tonight by Ritchie Implement and Comp, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster's here inventory and employment opportunities at richiesInc.com. Mount City Bank's total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop into Mount City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Learn more at mountcitybank.com. Community First Bank for you in the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank. CFBank.com. Member FDIC. The Larson Funeral Home and Soman Larson Funeral Home have dedicated themselves to the highest level of personal service that only a family-owned and operated funeral home can provide. The Larson Family Funeral Home, Fenimore, and the Soman Larson Funeral Home, Montfort. Dan's Auto Center congratulates the Mineral Point Pointer boys basketball team on a great season. For tune-ups, new tires, and complete diagnostics, visit the experts at Dan's Auto Center, Mineral Point. Brian Steffes Construction is Oak Wick Building Dealer at Mineral Point, serving all of South Wisconsin 24 since 1996. For Wick Buildings, your dreams of Brian Steffes Construction's expertise to work for you. Eggers Enterprises in Mineral Point, specializing in residential and commercial landscaping and hardscaping, now including lawn care and hydro seeding, will always exceed your expectations. Check them out on our Facebook and call Lane today. Farmers Implement in Mineral Point proudly supports Mineral Point Pointer basketball at Farmers Implement in Mineral Point. Service been a tradition for over 40 years. They have what you need to get the job done. And Anderson Rubber Toyota in Dubuque, powering our audio stream. Anderson Rubber Toyota in Dubuque when you are ready. Underway now in the second half here. We'll get a three ball right off the rip, and it's good for Iowa Grant. That's Fisher on the three ball. And that'll make it 54-13. First point tonight for Maddox Fisher there. Now Ashelman, three ball of his own. That one won't go. Lindsay rips down the board. Now Wenhausen tries a three. That one, no good. Another rebound for Lindsay, and that one stolen away. Here goes IG the other way. Tyler Schultz on the floor to start things off in the first half. Schultz goes over to Fisher. We'll get a three ball here from Pettit, and it's good there. The deep ball for Miles Pettit. It was 54-10 out of the half, and now 1 minute in, 54-16. Here's Wenhausen on the far side, kicks to Lindsay. Inside, that one out of bounds, last touch by Maddox Fisher. Southwest Health has over 24 specialty services and more than 50 specialists. So you can have excellent care without traveling far from home. Learn more about their specialty services at southwesthealth.org. Here's the inbound to Phillips up top. Goes to Wenhausen on the screen. He'll try the corner three, and it drops. There's Jackson Wenhausen's first made three-point field goal on the night. 57-16 Mineral Point. Here's Fisher. This one's stolen away. Ashelman pushes it the other way. Gathers and lays it in off the glass for two. Make it 59-16 Mineral Point after that one. And there's the Mineral Point offense kicking it in for the first time in the half. Here's Maddox Fisher. Fisher over to Schmitz. Schultz, rather. He'll try the three. That one off the mark. Fisher flies in for the board, but it's blocked. Rebound up for grabs. Still out of bounds. Last touched by Fulton. It'll be Mineral Point ball. H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving you in Fenimore, Lancaster, and Boscobel. Always on call, always the right call. H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving Southwest Wisconsin 24/7 since 1958. Ashelman goes over to Lindsay. Lindsay past one defender. Now over to Wenhausen. Back to Lindsay on the far side wing. Dannenberg will try the three from the near corner, and it drops for Tucker Dannenberg. Dannenberg up to 5 on the night with that three ball to make it 62-16 Mineral Point. In the corner, here's Fulton. Pressure by Mineral Point, and there's a kick ball off of Phillips's foot. IB's Construction, Mineral Point. IB's Construction Incorporated is a family-owned and operated ready-mix aggregate and excavation company serving Southwest Wisconsin. IB's Construction, Mineral Point, Schneidels Heating and Cooling, your local Daikin dealer. Call Bradley Schneider for heating, ventilating, and air conditioning from Schneidels Heating and Cooling in Bloomington. Tyler Schultz gets this one in. Here's Fisher. Swings over to Lang. He'll try the three, and it's good. Noah Lang with the three ball to make it 62-19. 3 3 balls to open the half for IG, 3 minutes in. Now Bossert over to Ashelman inside. Dempsey back to Bossert. Bossert kicks to Ashelman, extra pass, Dannenberg, catch and shoot three, same spot. That one no good, too strong. Here comes Tyler Schultz the other way. He leaves for Fisher. Now to Schultz. It's to Lang. Inside, Fisher for Fulton. Fulton. Ball won by Iowa Grant. Schultz near the half-court line will reset his offense. Fires there to Fisher up top. Fisher kick ball on Phillips. It'll stay with IG. Danzato Center congratulates the Mineral Point boys basketball team on a great season. For tune-ups, new tires, and complete diagnostics, visit the experts at Danzato Center in Mineral Point. Here's Fisher. Three-ball, Schultz. Got it! It's raining threes for Iowa Grant this half. 4 of them to get us started. Now 62-22. Mineral Point leading. Dempsey, the near side wing, over to Ashelman. Ashelman to Dannenberg. Dannenberg on the baseline is fouled. Brought to you tonight by Southwest Health with over 24 specialists, specialty services, and 50 specialists. So you can have excellent care without traveling far from home. Learn more about their specialty services at southwesthealth.org. Here's Ashelman. He'll try the three. And it drops from the corner. Drew Ashelman with the three ball. Schultz. Now Pettit goes over to Fisher. He'll try the three. That one, no good. Fulton with the board, and it's blocked by Phillips. And a foul there on the Panthers. That's going to go on Noah Lang, his first, second of the half on Iowa Grant. Brought to you tonight by Eggers Enterprise in Mineral Point, specializing in residential, commercial, landscaping, and hardscaping, now including lawn care and hydro seeding. They'll always exceed your expectations. Check them out on the Weber Facebook and call Lane today. Bossert on the near side wing, over to Ashelman. Ashelman doubled inside. Dempsey rejected. Potterton earns another opportunity for pointers. Ashelman, he knocks it home from deep. There's the fourth three ball of the night for Drew Ashelman, and it's 68-22 Mineral Point. Dannenberg rebounds it quickly over to Ashelman. Down the floor come the pointers. Dempsey fouled, got it, and one. Dempsey another one there. Mineral Point to 70. And the foul on Fisher will put Dempsey at the line for one more. Farmers Implement Mineral Point proudly supports Mineral Point pointer basketball. At Farmers Implement Mineral Point service has been a tradition. For over 40 years, they have what you need to get the job done in H&M Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving you in Fenimore, Lancaster, and Boscoville. Always on call, always the right call. H&M Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving Southwest Wisconsin 24/7 since 1958. Dempsey, good on the free throw. His fifth made free throw of the night. Burnham Lumber, Rui. See Burnham Lumber for all your agricultural, commercial, and residential projects. Burnham Lumber, Rui. In Grant Regional Health, Stoner's Road team, Dr. Brad Binsfeld and Nate Stocco, PAC, provides exceptional care for sports-related injuries. Grant Regional Health Center, better health starts here. Here's Fisher. He's got 3 tonight for Iowa Grant. On the outside, he'll back it up to Pettit. It's 71-22 Mineral Point with 12.5 to go in the second half. Deep 2 here. That one, good for Noah Lang. Now 71-24. Here's Finley, works it to the right, now over to Brylan Lee. Brylan Lee back to Grady Finley. Schrader to Potterton, really the only guy in Mineral Point's rotation still on the floor. Lee, over to Finley. Schrader, out to Bossert. We hit the under 12. Lee will kick to Finley on the far side wing. Schrader drives, back out to Finley. Bossert Lee kicks to Schrader. Finley. Now over to Bossert. Bossert drives. Lee. Back to Schrader. Mineral Point burning a lot of clock on this possession, and Bossert steps out of bounds. It'll be Iowa Grant ball. Hermson's Ace Hardware and Home Center in Bloomington, and Hermson's Ace Hardware and Home Center at the bottom of Main and Platteville. If you see your Hermson's for the perfect paint for your next project, Hermson's Ace Hardware in Bloomington and Platteville. Brought to you tonight by Ritchie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richiesInc.com. Here comes Lundell back into the game for Iowa Grant. Is that starting five? Friesen loses his dribble. Over to Lundell. Leffelholtz kicks to Friesen. Now Zimmer. Rickard on the near side wing. The pressure here from Mineral Point's second string defense here. Drive inside, and Potterton with the two-handed swat. Brought to you tonight by Tech Resource Management, a greener way, Tech Resource Management of Monroe. Also brought to you tonight by WCC Brands Custom Apparel in Kieler and at WCC-brands.com. Here's the inbound. Back out to Friesen, works it inside. Leffelholtz can't get the two to fall. Rebound tip from Potterton to Lee. Here comes Brylan Lee the other way. Almost stolen away, but saved by Finley and Potterton, and that is going to be an over and back on Mineral Point. Broadcast tonight presented by Russell Law Offices, here to assist you with your local legal representation. Call for a consultation to discuss personal injury, estate planning, family law, criminal defense, probate administration, and more. Proudly serving Southern Wisconsin, Russell Law Offices. So brought to you tonight by Ayers Furniture in downtown Ridgeway for free delivery on heirloom quality furniture for every room in your home. Be sure to visit Ayers Furniture and AyersFurniture.com. Here's Lundell. Over to Zimmer, inside, Rickard, fouled. We'll see who that one's on. It'll be on Grady Finley. That's his first foul. Ritchie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richiesinc.com. And there's a 5-second call. It'll be Mineral Point basketball. First Supply at Platteville, your total commercial plumbing and heating wholesale outlet. When quality parts are needed, the experts rely on First Supply in Platteville. Here comes Finley the other way, 10-10 to go, second half, 71-24, Mineral Point in the regional semifinal. Bossert drives it, can't finish with the left hand. Rebound goes to Grant Rickard. Back the other way, Zimmer. Stopped on the baseline, turnaround Jay, no good. Bossert controls the board. Sloan Implement, your official John Deere dealer in Bloomington, Cuba City, Montfort, and Sloans.com. Schrader, he drives it. Bossert from the free throw line. That one rattles home. There's the first points of the game for Brett Bossert. Now 73-24 Mineral Point with 9:30 to go in this one. Here's the shot by Lundell. No good. Mineral Point with the rebound. Back the other way. Hudson Schrader works his way into the post. Kicks to Rip, and there's two inside for Cole Rip. Now 75-24 Mineral Point. Lundell falling away, kicks to Leffelholtz, and his three ball is good. And we'll get a substitution timeout here for Iowa Grant. Claire Bank with the 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin is proud to support our community events. Claire Bank, where they say we can do that. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Magnet Electric of Belmont can assist you with all your electrical needs. Ship and inscript Magnet Electric are on call and ready to help you with all your agricultural, business, and commercial needs. Magnet Electric at Belmont and Bryant's Auto Body and Paint Specialists. The pros at Bryant's get the job done right for unexpected things or major repair projects. Head to Bryant's Auto Body and Paint, Lancaster. Here's Mineral Point with under 9 to play. Brylan Lee outside to Schrader. Schrader takes to Vomstead. Now Lee near the free throw line. Vomstead, Schrader in the near corner. Works it inside, kicks to Rip, and Rip fouled. Free throws on the way for him. Guys Truck and Tractor for heavy-duty towing and recovery, reliable 24-hour roadside service and long-distance transports. Call on Guys Truck and Tractor in Kieler and at guystruck.com. Foul going to go on Pettit. Free throws on the way for Cole Rip. First one no good for Rip. Krantz Auto Parts, your local hardware Hank and Napa dealer. See Rob Krantz and the crew at Krantz Auto Parts for full service repairs on cars and light trucks too. Krantz Auto Parts at Fenimore. Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors at Belmont. Prairie du Chien and Carey's GuttersandDoors.com. And Boz Electric. Call Brad Adrian, Josh Busher at Boz Electric, Lancaster from Fenimore. Rip can't get either of the free throws to go. 75-27 Mineral Point with 8 to go in this one, and we'll get a foul on Mineral Point, it looks. It'll be on Brylan Lee. That is his first foul. Carver's Hardwood Flooring. For hardwood flooring, stair installation, or refinishing needs, call Ryan Carver, the only Natural Wood Flooring Association certified installer, sander, and finisher in the tri-state area. Carver's Hardwood Flooring in Benton. Here's the inbound to Fisher with 7.5 to go in our regional semifinal. Schultz, step back three, up, no good, too strong. Rebound won by Schultz. Now in the far corner, Pettit. He'll go back to Schultz. Fulton, outside to Fisher. Fisher leaves for Schultz. Schultz fires the three from the wing, and it's good. That's the second three ball for Tyler Schultz to push the Panthers to 30. Ritchie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richiesInc.com. Rip drives it, goes outside to Lee. He'll try the three, and that one short, out of bounds. It'll be Iowa Grant basketball. People's State Bank, for personal, home, business, and ag loans. Visit one of their convenient area locations or visit peoplesfinancial.com. Member FDIC. Here comes Iowa Grant, 6.5 to go in this one. Get a step back J there off the mark. Another putback opportunity for Lang. And it's good for Noah Lang. He's got 7 tonight for the Panthers. Ritchie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richiesInc.com. Here's Lee. Stops inside, back out to Vomstead. Now Rip up top. Rip inside, kicks back out, Finley. He'll work it into the free throw line, stops and stolen away. 75-32 Mineral Point with under 6 to go here. On the outside, Pettit. Over to Fisher. Schultz up top. Get a Iowa Grant turnover here. It'll be Mineral Point basketball. Gary's Pest Control in Dickeyville. Gary's Pest Control salutes our local athletes. Gary's Pest Control, over 40 years of professional friendly service. And Donnie's Tire and Auto. Call the only hooker in town for 24-hour towing service at 568-3014. 568-3014, your home for excellent car care. Is Donnie's Tire and Auto in Dickeyville. And we'll get another substitution here for Mineral Point. Carson Schrader and Wyatt Pete into the game. Here's the inbound for Mineral Point. Under 5 to play, 75-32, Mineral Point leading in this one. Schrader. Over to Rip in the near corner. Rip. Now Vomstead is fouled. It's going to be on Pettit. His second, 5th on Iowa Grant. Here's Schultz working it inside. And there's Will Fulton with the 2. Here's Vomstead. 75-34, Mineral Point. 4 to go. Pete thought about the 3. He'll drive it inside. Puts up the floater. That one off the mark. Back the other way. Schultz Kicks over to Bonson. Bonson leaves for Pettit. Bonson back out to Schultz. Schultz, deep three. No good, too strong. Carson Schrader flies in for the rebound. Ritchie's Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and complete employment opportunities at richiesinc.com. And we'll get a foul here on the Panthers. That will be their 7th, so it's going to be a 1-and-1 opportunity on the way for Mineral Point. And that is the 6th, rather, my apologies. So one more foul before we start shooting free throws. That's going to be on Will Fulton, his first. Vomstead inbounds to Carson Schrader. Schrader over to Vomstead. Vomstead back to Pete. Pete over to Vomstead in that near corner. Works it back towards the middle. Now kicks to Carson Schrader. Pete drives with the left hand. Off the glass. It's good for Wyatt Pete. The Mineral Point senior off the bench gets a pair in the postseason. Now 77-34 Mineral Point. As we approach the final 2 in this one. Don't go anywhere, folks. After this, we'll have our Edward Jones Reef Wealth Management post-game show. A lot of action in the area tonight to catch you all up to speed on. So don't go anywhere for that coverage. Layden Bonson gets the 2 to go there. Back the other way. And we'll get a foul here on the Panthers. That's going to be on Bonson, his first. And that'll send Keegan Winger to the free throw line for the Pointers. He'll get 1 in the bonus. First one, no good. One more on the way for Winger. That one off the mark. Carson Schrader with the offensive rebound, and he's fouled. That foul's going to go on Miles Pettit, his 3rd, and that'll send Carson Schrader to the free throw line. Brought to you tonight by Ritchie Implement in Cobb, Barneveld, Darlington, and Lancaster. See your inventory and employment opportunities at richiesinc.com. Carson Schrader got to make 1 to get another. First one, no good. Rip with the board and the putback. Mineral Point on the verge of 80. It's 79-36 with just 30 seconds left. Shot no good there. And the putback off the mark for the Panthers is Lang. And we'll have a jump ball possession error. We'll give it to Mineral Point. Clock will run, so Mineral Point, all they got to do is inbound this one, and it's all but over. Here's the inbound. Mineral Point, the season sweep, and a resounding win to put them back in the regional finals, where they will play to make it 4 straight tomorrow. Your final score tonight, Mineral Point 79, Iowa Grant 36. We'll take a break. Back after this on ESPN Radio AM 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Your score here is Mineral Point with a win, 79-36. We'll take another break, and it'll be the Edward Jones Reeves Wealth Management post-game show after this on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Mineral Point gets the win, 79-36, as the Pointer fans watch the conclusion to the Lancaster Parkview game here on the video scoreboard and the Scott Schmitz Community Gym. The winner of that one will come here tomorrow night to take on Mineral Point. As we'll take another break after this, we'll break down some stats. We'll look what we've got coming up on our Queen Bee Radio family of stations, and much, much, much more. Don't go anywhere. Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. 79-36, Mineral Point takes down Iowa Grand as we're going back and forth between games here. Mineral Point now watching over in Cuba City as it's 34-33. The Cubans have their first lead of the game playing the Golden Eagles. We'll take a look now at the Shoebox scoreboard presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest, and see what scores we've got in the area so far. As I mentioned, it's 34-33 Platteville, or Cuba City reading Fenimore. Platteville got a close win over Richland Center, 41-40. What else we have? Last check, Darlington leading Belleville, 39-22. A lot of time left in that one, with they're under 10 to go in the game. North Crawford leading River Ridge 57-36. Lancaster up big in their game over Parkview. And in college hoops, UW Platteville leads Grinnell 71-34 at halftime in that one. Going to be a big night for UW Platteville. We'll take another break. Back after this on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. As we're wrapping up this one here between the Pointers and the Panthers. We'll take a look at some stats now here. The scoring stats will do for Iowa Grant. Tyler Schultz finishes with 8 for Landon Friesen. It's 5. Grant Rickard puts up 3. Maddox Fisher has 3. Miles Pettit has 3. Will Fulton 2. Noah Lang has 7. Bladen Bonson finishes with 2, and Trayton Leffelholz with 3 for Mineral Point. Cole Ritt puts up 4. Brett Bossert has 2. Jackson Wenhausen finishes with 6. 14 for Eli Lindsay. 18 for Drew Ashelman. 5 for Tucker Dannenberg. Wyatt Pete has 2. 20 for Keaton Dempsey. 2 for Atlee Potterton, and 6 for Jake Phillips. Those are your scores in this one here tonight. We'll take another break. Back after this on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel, now joined by Eli Lindsay of the Mineral Point Pointers. Congrats on the win, Eli.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, so first thing I had to ask you, it's the playoffs, second to last home game here. And you get a dunk in your home gym. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels nice, especially after kind of made a little run there to kind of extend the lead there a little bit. And just, I'm going to be honest, Matthew, I was a little tired on that dunk. You kind of saw I barely got it over the rim, but I'm very thankful it went in. It was pretty cool.
All right, now next thing I want to talk about is I had the chance to talk to Coach Daly before the game, and he talked about limiting the big 3 for Mineral Point. But tonight, you finished with just 14, and Jackson Wenhausen only finished with 6. Instead, it was guys like Keaton Dempsey with big scoring nights. Jake Phillips put up 6 points. What does that say to how versatile your offense can be on any given night?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of who we are as a team. You saw Coach Daly come out and kind of try to deny me and Jackson right away and kind of trying to send 2 at Drew every time he drove. And I thought guys like Tucker Dannenberg, finding Jacob Phillips, Keaton Dempsey obviously had a fantastic game. Kind of just those guys stepping up. And, I mean, I have absolute confidence. Teams want to do that to us every night. I'm absolutely fine with that, letting those other guys kind of take the head roll there.
Now, this kind of a unique situation. The last game you played before this one was against Iowa Grant to wrap up your regular season. What's it like when you have to play a team 3 times in one season, especially back-to-back with one of those being a postseason game? Does that provide a unique challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. It provides a challenge, especially after you kind of know. I mean, they kind of get a feel for what you're doing and stuff like that, and especially Sean Daly, got to give a props to him as he had a great game plan for us tonight. And I mean, they were kind of working through it. It's always tough playing teams 3 times in one year, but I thought Coach Burson and Coach McGraw and Coach Downey, Coach Wenhausen did a great job getting us prepared for this game.
All right, last question for you right now with about 6 minutes to go in that one. It's 72-52. Lancaster leading Parkview. Tomorrow night, if it is Lancaster, it'll be a rematch against them. And your last home game here in Mineral Point, going for your 4th straight regional championship, which I don't believe has ever been done by this program. How do you feel about that game early as of now?
Yeah, I mean, Lancaster's a great team. We played them earlier in the year, and they weren't hitting as many shots. So, I mean, I don't really look at that score too much because, I mean, they're going to be a great team coming in here. They're going to be hungry for a win and stuff. I mean, it's regional finals. It's playoff basketball. Everyone's going to give it your all, so you make sure we got to be prepared tomorrow. But we're going to watch them early in the morning. Coach Burson will get us prepared.
All right, Eli Lindsay, the Mineral Point Pointers. Congrats on the win tonight, Eli.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, there's Eli Lindsay of the Mineral Point Pointers. We'll take another break back after this on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and Queenie Radio Sports YouTube channel.
Rebound, 2:30 left in the second half, 38-36, Cuba City. And then a tip down at half court by Kelly, I believe, and so it goes back to the Cubans. The Butcher Shop in Fenimore offers top quality meat, pork, and chicken to fill your freezers. Short on time, don't forget their heat and serve barbecue beef and pork for great tasting meals. The Butcher Shop in Fenimore, all in line at half court, now a whistle. And timeout called by Fenimore to keep it here. 2:24 left in the second half, 38-36. Cuba City leads Fenimore. Eagles down to one timeout. Cubans have 2, 19 fouls on Cuba City, just 4 on Fenimore, and no one is joining the 4-foul club except whoever, forget it. Mark and Tricia Thompson's IGA and Cuba City want to wish the Cuba City basketball team good luck. Thompson's IGA and Cuba City hometown crowd with the Cubans. The Applied Micro staff, their local computer sales and service specialists for new computers or quick tech fixes. Applied Micro offers top-of-the-line computers for every need, home or business. Applied Micro computers made easy, service you can trust. And McNett Pet Cremations. Proud to back Cuba City basketball. They are now here to serve your entire family during times of loss, honoring pets and preserving memories. McNett Pet Cremations in Cuba City. 2:24 left in the second half, 38-36. Cuba City leading Fenimore. And with the basketball at half court opposite the scorer's table. Ball brought up and a foul by Kelly. Trying to half court, that'll be their fifth. Probably trying to foul her to force them onto the line. The foul line. Second foul on Kelly. Bouncing game. Total line of credit allows you to the equity home. Defense line. Stop in a bouncing game for playoff for some future approval. Member of the ICD clause and learn more bouncing.com. Eagles inbound, or Cubans inbound, 2:15 left in the second half. 2-point lead falling down and having to call a timeout to prevent a turnover there. And Trevor Banana a little slow getting up. He just fell on his seat right in front of his bench. So a timeout for Cuba City. They'll lead team with 1. 38-36. Cuba City in front. Again, 9 fouls on the Cubans, 5 on the Eagles. And again, nobody has 4 fouls yet. Well, let's see. We're brought to you by Larson Family Funeral Home. And someone Larson Funeral Home, they have dedicated themselves to the highest level of personal services that only a family-owned and operated funeral home can provide. Larson Family Funeral Home, Fenimore, and someone Larson Funeral Home in Lockport. Cruiser Construction and Kieler specializes in home construction, offering all the latest products and techniques to build your dream home within your budget. Cruiser Construction, check them out on Facebook and call Amy today. Call Acres Golf and Grill, where the clubhouse is open year-round. Enjoy Friday night fish fries, Sundays breakfast buffet, and daily lunch specials. Sign up your teams now for fall and winter simulator leagues at Call Acres Golf and Grill. H&M Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving you in Fenimore, Lancaster, and Moscow. Always on call, always
Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queenie Radio Sports YouTube channel. Officially now into our Edward Jones Reeves Wealth Management post-game show as we wrap things up here for Mineral Point. Let's name a Tricor Turning Point. Insurance plans built for you, your family, and your business. Contact Tricor Insurance. Taking a look at this one. You got to say it's early in the game. Mineral Point was able to control this one from the tip. They had a really strong run into just before the half, but then also another really important thing is you got to shout out that Mineral Point second unit and how well they defended the Panthers. On the other side, Iowa Grant, they brought in their bench to start off the second half, and they knocked down like 4 3-pointers. Very impressive by them, but ultimately Mineral Point wire to wire, really dominated in this one and got the win. We're going to take one more break, and after this, we will talk about what we've got coming up on our Queen Bee Radio family of stations over the next couple of days. Back after this on ESPN Radio AM 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel.
Taken away by Richard. Richard comes up with a rebound under 100 seconds in the second half, 38-36. Here's Richard with it over to Franklin. And a tip pass, but it's picked up underneath by Mawson. And tip almost stolen. Now the ball loose and taken away. Larson comes up with it for Fenimore. And now Rope with it. Goes into the lane, puts it up, and doesn't get it. It's right off the basket. And it's grabbed by the Eagles, but the Cubans on the rebound and a foul. With minute 12 left in the second half. Well, pitcher Mike's got custom processing at Weber's Processing Plant in Cuba City. Weber's Processing Plant now accepting loans from Fox and Plants. Weber's Processing Plant in Cuba City. Cubans basketball inbound. The foul actually was called, I think, on Kenny. He's the third. 16th foul, so one more was Cuba City at the line the rest of the game. Edwards had 2 steals, couldn't get it. And then a long pass underneath, and Kieler trapped underneath, but he's able to get it to Banana. And now Banana being double teamed, gets it over to Richard, and Richard is fouled by Kenny. That is his fourth, with 59.4 seconds left in the second half. The Eagles had 2 point-blank range shots, and they both bounced off the rim. Then Richard checks in, and Kieler takes the seat. And Tyson Richard with the 1-1. Southwest Health has over 24 specialty services, more than 50 specialists, so you can have excellent care without traveling far from home. Learn more about their specialty services at southwesthealth.org. First free throw is no good, but it's Trevor Banana getting the rebound. But then the ball went out of bounds. He must have been out of bounds when he grabbed it, so even though he tried to hold it.
Back on ESPN Radio and 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Let's wrap things up here from Mineral Point and their 79-36 win over Iowa Grant. Talk about what we've got coming up over the next couple days on our Queen Bee Radio family of stations. Tomorrow, Team State Wrestling to kick us off. That starts at 9:40 from the barn in Madison. I'll be on X1071 Extreme Hit Music with Scott Tolsman for the Mineral Point Stratford semifinal in D3, and on 97.7 Country WGLR, it's Fenimore and Coleman with Brad Richardson in D2. Girls basketball sectional final, Barneveld versus Oliva Strum from La Crosse Logan is on ESPN Radio AM 1590 WPVL and the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel at 12:40. Also at 12:40 is the Cuba City Lacrosse Aquinas sectional final in the Dells on Super Hits 106. Kicking that off with the Rally Cheese pregame show. If the Pointers or the Golden Eagles advance in Team State Wrestling, we'll have those finals at 2:40. Fenimore still on WGLR, Mineral Point still on X1071 Extreme Hit Music, and we will have our regional champions played for tomorrow night in boys basketball. Well, thank you to Chris Carr and the staff here at Mineral Point High School for having us tonight. It's always a pleasure. Thanks to our sponsors who make our broadcast possible, and thanks to you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast, a Queen Bee Radio presentation of Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank High School Regional Semifinal Boys Basketball, presented by Cuba City, Kieler, and Darlington Family Dental and Carey Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors, powered in the postseason by Tim Slack Auction and Realty Nation and Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical on 97.7 Country WGLR FM Lancaster. From the Wolf Construction broadcast booth, I'm Matthew Ganinin, and a 79-36 win for Mineral Point over Iowa Grant. Tomorrow, we crown regional champions in boys basketball, sectional champions in girls basketball, and state champions in team wrestling on our Queen Bee Radio family of stations. Signing off from Mineral Point. Have a great rest of your night, folks.